Welcome to today's deep dive.
Hey there.
So today we're looking at one of the most famous moments in exploration history, Hillary and Tenzing on Everest.
Right.
But we're going to completely ignore the summit photo. We're actually focusing on what happened next, the descent, and that immediate return to the world.
It's such a jarring shift in perspective, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
We always obsess over the victory, the moment at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
But the real sort of psychological story happened when they turned their backs on the peak.
It's a study in contrast.
It is.
Yeah.
The public myth of conquest versus the private shared reality of just getting down alive.
So let's start there. Let's go to that moment right after they leave the summit.
Right.
They're on the ridge, it's afternoon, and all the glamour is just gone. The wind is picking up, their faces are exhausted.
And the summit itself is disappearing behind them into the clouds. It's effectively vanished.
And Hillary's reaction here, it isn't triumph, is it? He stops.
He stops, yeah. He looks back into that whiteout, and I think he realizes their absolute isolation. He actually says, "No one hears us anymore."
Wow, that line just feels so heavy.
It's terrifying.
But Tenzing's response, it's not some empty comfort. He personifies the whole landscape. He just says, the mountain heard enough.
And that, for me, that is the key to this entire story.
How so?
Well, it changes the dynamic. It's not two men fighting some enemy anymore. It's two men who are, respecting this massive force of nature.
Right, there are no hero poses up on that ridge. No flag waving.
None. It's just this pragmatic agreement that the transaction's over. They didn't beat the mountain. They were allowed up, and now it's time to leave.
And that shared, quiet understanding makes what comes next feel almost violent. We jump straight from the wind on the ridge to Kathmandu at sunset. That's some serious whiplash.
It's the return to the human world, and it is absolute chaos. Crowds, journalists, just noise everywhere.
And right in the middle of it all, you see this huge newspaper headline.
Yeah, Everest conquered.
Conquered. That one word. It just clashes so hard with what Tenzing said on the ridge.
It really does. The mountain heard enough implies this deep respect.
Yeah.
Conquered. Well, that implies a war.
And the world wanted a war story.
That's the tragedy of it, I think.
Yep.
The world wanted a story about domination. But the two men who were actually there, they had lived something almost spiritual.
And you can see it in their body language there in Kathmandu. Tenzing is standing at the back.
Completely silent. He's physically separating himself from that whole narrative.
And Hillary doesn't seem to be buying it either. He looks at this cheering crowd, all these people celebrating this idea of victory,
But then he breaks eye contact with them.
and he looks back at Tenzing.
He's checking in with the only other person on the planet who knows the truth of it. It just captures that idea so perfectly. That history sometimes writes a single name.
But summits are crossed by two people.
Always. The public narrative, the story of the conquest, it almost completely erased the partnership that was the only reason they got up and down safely.
It really changes how you see that achievement. The official story was about winning, but the internal reality for them was about respect and silence.
Exactly. The real bond wasn't formed in the parades and the headlines.
No.
It was sealed up there on that windy ridge when they both agreed that the mountain was listening.
And had heard enough.
Yeah. It leaves you with a kind of difficult question, doesn't it? When you think about your own achievements,
Yeah.
how much of the deep shared reality gets stripped away just to make a headline the rest of the world can understand?
That is something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.